Music producers, it's Curtis King of CURTiQUE and you're watching the second episode of Critique My Beats. This is the show where you, the producer, sends in your particular production. I critique it, I listen to it, I give you some pointers. This is a show that many of you have been requesting. The rules of the show are very simple. You send in 2 beats to Critique My Beats, CURTiQUE, my beats at gmail.com. I'll listen to the first one. If the first one's on point, if I'm vibing with it, after the first critique, I'll go to the second one. If not, I'll go to another producer and give them an opportunity. The basis of this show is to shine light on so many of you that have been supporting me for so long. Now, something I'm going to be doing a little bit different is I'll be skipping through some of the beats just to kind of get to some of the more sweeter spots about it. Now, that's for 2 different reasons. One, because some of you were feeling like, oh, you didn't really listen to a beat. 1 minute is not enough to get the vibe of the beat. I understand that. And secondly, because some of you have these songs actually out on beat tapes, YouTube flags my videos, and that in turn will cut off the monetization and a few other things. So thank you for everybody that's submitting. So what we're gonna go straight to the screen. For people that have already submitted, instead of going randomly, I'm gonna go actually to one of the first people that sent beats, and we're gonna go ahead and listen to the beats. Let's listen to Blake Mudge. Let's click on that. Okay, he says, sorry in advance for being SoundCloud links. Don't even trip on that. But here are 2 that I've done. I really appreciate you giving back to the community that you've curated. It's dope when people who've built something and have rep behind their name help others elevate their game. Much thanks in advance. Well, I appreciate you for even acknowledging that. I look forward to hearing what you got. So it seems like your producer name may be Stackhouse. So let's listen to this first SoundCloud link and then we'll come back with some critiques. Okay, Stackhouse, so the name of this beat is Blue Fetty. Appreciate you submitting this. From the first thing that I hear, you know, the first sounds that come in, let's see if I can replay that. I expected this to be a ridiculous banger when it first came in. Those eerie synthesizers, I think that you should definitely let those breathe a little bit longer. The way that it fades in, the way that it comes into the 808s, I think that it was a great opportunity to let that shine. But I think that the horn that you use, the sort of the, I think it sort of stole the show, not just from the beat, but it stole the show from the rapper that raps over it. I could see this if I was looking for beats for my particular music. I would look at this as a beat that I probably would skip. It seems like that horn kind of, you know, takes over a lot of the vibe of that beat. This beat could have been something that I would have vibed to a lot longer had that horn not been so prominent within the production. I think your drums are banging. I think that synthesizer was great. I think also too, you have 2 different rhythms going that are kind of clashing with one another. For my particular ears, it just seemed like they're clashing with one another. I think that you could have brought the horn in maybe without the synthesizer blips or whatever you call those synthesizer sounds. You could have took that out and easily made that sort of a breakdown or even like an outro where it's just that horn section. But overall, like I said, I like the beats. I like what the 808 was hitting. Let's go to another one. I actually want to hear another one from you. So let me switch this over. All right, we're going to go to this one called Storytelling. Here we go. Okay, I think I'm understanding sort of what I hear initially that's kind of bothering me. Before we get to that, let me just say the positive about this. I love the way that you sort of use that piano. I like that you have these very promising sounds in the very initial beginning where I feel like if you just let those breathe a little bit longer, we can catch a vibe with where you're going. But I feel like sometimes you may add sounds like that pad. I feel like you may be adding that to overcompensate or to fill in space. And I think that it's not always necessary. If I were to guess, I would say that you're making these beats really, really loud because it sounds like, I can't even tell you how I know that, but I feel like you're making these beats at a very loud volume and you're just filling in space and it just seems like it feels good. So that's why you keep these loops going on for, on and on and on. Two things that I see, initially from both of these beats is there's a lack of change ups that are showing me where each direction is going. The only thing that shows me that the difference between a verse and a chorus is when these huge clashing instruments come in. And I think they're clashing. There's a second part. I think they're clashing because, you're not, how do they put it? You're not cutting off certain frequencies in your parametric equalizer. I don't know what you use, but it's the parametric equalizer 2 on FL Studio. You could literally cut off some of the bass frequencies of that pad and it wouldn't clash so much with some of the pianos that you're using. Right now the sounds are running so freely that they're clashing with different frequencies and it may sound full when the music is super, super loud. But I think that's the issue is that you got to turn it down, probably mix at a lower volume, come back the second day and see how you feel. I think sometimes you're letting certain instruments, that are dominant instruments go on for too long. And I think letting it go on for too long is really, not to your benefit because a rapper hears that and it just sounds like it's clashing. Once again, I like your drum work. I like the hi-hat work. I like I said, the use of that piano in this particular one. But, I think that we're all work in progress. And I think the thing that'll make this, work for you even more sometimes is taking things out before you figure to add them. It may just be simply taking something out. And I think that working together, maybe instead of a pad, you may be ducking that pad with a filter or just choosing a whole nother instrument, like a less dominant pad that takes over the space where a rapper's supposed to have their vocals. They're going to be clashing with that. But either way, it takes a lot of guts to send this here. Thank you for your submission. Let's actually go to another one here, and then we'll do a random one on the other page. Because like you can see, 314 submissions. Y'all crazy, but I love you for that. Well, let's take this one. 2 bangers. Okay, so this is Archer Beats. He actually sent attachments. So listen to it, and I'll come back to you with some critiques.
Archer.
Archer Beats, that was a banger. I like that. I like the momentum on it. I like that the music, the melodic aspects of the beat is actually moving, because I think that that's where a lot of music is going right now, where melodically it is just a movement within the music. I think that's dope. I love your percussion work. I love that use of the extra snare. I don't know what it was, but as soon as I heard the tag, I had a feeling this was somebody who's been producing for a little bit of time, or at least had a good grasp on what they're doing. It's crazy the things that can stand out to you when you've been hearing beats for so long, but I like it. The only critiques I would have of it is that huge echoed clap that you put to layer on the snare. I probably would have saved that for some very special moments, like the last clap in an 8-bar loop. right? So instead of using it on every single snare, I think it can take away from some of the aggression and some of the attitude and just the stank that's on these snares by adding these claps that, you know, would usually be reserved for like emotional hip hop songs or even like emotional trap songs. I think that it would be much more better suited if you leave that huge clap for like kind of like a period at the end of a verse or like just a last stamp at the end of a chorus. I think that would be better suited. I think that it was, you know, other than those critiques, I think that was a banger. Excellent work of the low ends. I want to listen to the second one, so let's jump into this Archer Beats. Look at you.
Archer.
Yo, Archer Beats, man, you're a beast. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed both beats. I enjoyed this one probably a little bit more than the first one, but the things that I like from it, you know, your percussion work is unpredictable. It's something that if I was a rapper listening to a beat, this would give me opportunities to shine in different ways on the same song. Like I listened to this beat and I could hear the breakdown. I could hear the part where the rapper probably goes into like a more aggressive flow and then they slow it back down and kind of do something smooth for a chorus. I love your use of that extra snare on top of the trap snare. I think it creates a different bounce, which is dope. Your hi-hat work is dope. The 808s are dope. Really, the only critiques, I'm trying to think, the only critiques that I would have for that particular beat, we don't have that many. I like that one. I really like that beat. It's a very spacey beat, so maybe some more, I call them SFX, but some sound effects in the background that really would make the sound design even crazier. Maybe taking it down to a low pass filter so it takes it on even a crazier journey. But I really don't have that many critiques for that. And that was a banger, bro. Like, I really wish you would have left your social media, but if you are watching this video, you have my permission to go in them comments and leave it because I'm sure there's some artists or producers who want to connect with you. Super dope. All right, so now that we went to those, let me find somebody that I actually recognize their name from the comments. That's how I want to cap this one off. I think that'll make it really good. Smizzle, man, Smizzle. Yeah, let's listen to your Smizzle. Because Smizzle, you actually gave me the challenge, or you offered the challenge to the homie Nabi and for the Unsolved Mysteries. Listen to your beats, man. So the first one is called Layers. I'll be honored if you check these out. Can see rap or singing on first one. Second one is full show rap. All right, well, Smizzle, let's check you out, bro. Haven't had a chance to listen to your music, but I always see your comments in there. Let's check it out. So the first one is called Layers.
This is a Mizzell Beats production.
Yo, Smizzle, man. Smizzle came through with the banger on Layers, though. What I love about this initially is how cinematic it sounds. It sounds like, I could see this being in a scene for an independent film. I could see this, I don't necessarily hear an artist initially when I hear it. Maybe like, for some strange reason, I can hear sort of a Macklemore or a G-Eazy or somebody who makes has beats that are very cinematic. That's the first thing that came to mind, but I wouldn't pitch this for placement. I would pitch this for TV sync license because I can see this as being like sort of like a dramatic, imagine like a skateboarder or looking at the horizon, or even looking like as a surfer, looking on the horizon of the beach before they actually hit the waves or something. That's what I can hear when I hear this. And it may sound crazy, but it's what I initially hear. I think will be better suited for that. I think that's a great beat. The only critiques that I have is that as cinematic as it was, the thing that kind of takes away from the cinematic nature for me is the snare that you use, or the backbeat that you use. The reverb kind of still gives it that cinematic feel because it feels larger than life, but I feel like something about it, the texture of it came piercing through too much. You said you can hear rapping or singing on it. It's crazy. I really hear rapping. I hear somebody with a cinematic flow because the drums are so hard. I would want to hear somebody who could just like tell a great story. Like I said, Macklemore is one of the first people that came into mind when I heard that. But man, that's a banger. Without a doubt, my friend. I want to listen to the second one you got. So let's go ahead and go to this second one, which is called NF Type Beat. So for the artist NF. Side note, your graphics is looking super dope. Like, major props to you for taking the time to actually put quality graphics and not just throwing a Google image together. This is super dope, bro. Okay, I'm gonna stop talking.
Mizzell Beats.
Yo, Mizzell, bro. Major props to you. You do some amazing work, my friend. I'm so glad you sent these in, bro. These are super, super, super dope. The ultimate stamp of approval from your boy Curtis King. I love, once again, the cinematic nature of this. I think that you really take your time. And I think that's something that a lot of producers overlook in their pursuit of making a banger. They overlook the fact that certain elements can just bring out the most, like the string runs, the rises and certain sounds that you had in here. Even the use of the echoed sort of drumstick or a rim shot that you use underneath the clap, I thought was super dope. And I think you picked the appropriate artist for this. The only thing that comes to mind that I could even critique, what I was really hoping for, and this may be just a preference thing, is that those 808s would do more gliding up and down. I think that it opens up the beat even more. For a dark beat like this, it opens it up and it kind of builds a little bit of a bounce and a little bit of momentum when people hear these gliding 808s, that boom, 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 boom. I think that will bring out another instrument, or not an instrument, but another emotion from it. But bro, bangers. And I believe your website is Mizzell Beats. Let's check it out again.
This is a Mizzell Beats production.
Where's your URL at? I don't know what came in. Where's the URL at? Producers, I would say this is another issue. Keep that URL throughout this entire video. Mizzell Beats. So it's mizzellbeats.com. He X out of this. This is his website. Go check him out. But what I would say, just as a critique of, this is so petty, but a critique of your actual visualization, audio visualizer, what I would suggest that you do is keep your website up there the entire time. Because at the end of the day, you never know when somebody's going to check back in and, maybe very casually look for your website while they're listening to a beat. Keep your website in there the entire time. But mizzellbeats.com, this is the second time you said, hopefully I'm featured again. Thank you for commenting, because that's why I remember your name. As soon as I saw 2 beats from Mizzell, I know. So let me go check them out. But hey, this is the second episode of Critique My Beats. Thank you for everybody that participated. Luckily, this is an episode where we heard every single beat. To me, you know, had great direction. You could tell people took their time on it, but I appreciate hearing these, and I appreciate being able to share you with the multitude of producers and rappers that are out there watching my videos. So keep sending them. If you want to be featured on another episode, a future episode of Critique My Beats, send 2 beats. Okay, 2 beats to CURTiQUE@gmail.com. CURTiQUE mybeats@gmail.com. If you don't know how to spell that, go down to the description and go ahead and submit it. But yeah, this is Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com, and this has been another episode of Critique My Beats. Have a good one. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com.